In this video we'll explore fractions, decimals, and percent. Now first thing is to make sure we understand what fractions are. And they occur when we explore one or more parts of an item or a collection of items divided into pieces. Our top number is called the numerator, and that's the number of parts we have. And our bottom is called the denominator, which is the name of each of the individual parts. For example, we could say we ate 2/3 of the brownie and drank 5/12 of the sodas. So there would be 3 total parts and we ate 2 of those. Or we drank 5 cans out of 12 total cans. Now with every fraction we have an infinite number of equivalent fractions by multiplying both the numerator and denominator by the same number. For example, we know that 3/4 is equal to 15/20, and we can show that. So say we have our 3 shaded pieces out of 4. And we say, well, how can we get to 15/20? Well, if we split each of those into 5 smaller parts, so that there's now 5 pieces in this large rectangle, 5 in here, and 5 in here, and 5 in here, we can see that there are 15 pieces shaded out of the 20. So 3/4 equals 15/20 by multiplying both the numerator and denominator by 5. Now if we need to convert a fraction to a decimal, we have to remember that we can look at fractions as an operation, which means that the numerator is divided by the denominator, and that will provide us the decimal value. For example, if we say convert 3/4 to a decimal, we can enter 3 divided by 4 and get 75/100. Now if we need to convert decimals back to fractions, we have to think about what's that final place value that's in our decimal. That will be our denominator. So what we can do then is write our decimal as the whole number, and then we place that over the denominator that's based on the place value, and then we simplify. For example, if we say this number, this is 75/100, and that hundredths tells us our denominator is 100. So now we have 75 over 100, but we need to simplify that. Now I can go through a whole bunch of different numbers that work. I do know that I could divide both by 5. That would give me 15 over 20. And I can divide 15 over 20 by 5 again and get 3/4. I could have divided it by 25 in the first place, but either method will work. Now if I'm looking at percents, I have to remember that percent, the word means out of 100. So we're looking at some value out of 100. If we need to convert a fraction to a percent, the easiest thing to do is to first change it to a decimal and then multiply by 100. So say we have 23/30. When we divide it, we get 0.766666. 6 is repeating. Okay, and we can keep that. And then we multiply it by 100, and we can say that our percent is 76.67%, and that's probably the easiest way to write it. Now if we need to convert a percent back to a fraction, the easiest thing to do is convert it first to a decimal and then convert the decimal to the fraction. So first, say we got 35%. If we change that to a decimal, that means we're dividing by 100, and we get 35/100. Now we think about, well, how do we convert a decimal to a fraction? We think about that place value, 35/100. That hundredths tells us it's 35 over 100, and I can simplify that down by dividing by 5 and get 7/20.